most unattractive. Hold on, I'm going to wipe the screen off. There we go. Good morning, Mr. Pig. Ow.
Yeah, jumping right in. I know. Look, Sleeks. S-E-Y-X.
Sleeks.
I've never
ready?
seen it spelt that way. Oh, good morning.
Okay.
Good morning, Mr. Pig.
I see you have found the swimming pool. Okay. We're ready to go. This is going to get messed up.
Welcome back.
Welcome. We have been gone.
Welcome. That's what they said in Germany when I was there.
That totally, now cabaret is going to be stuck in my head all day.
Welcome. What's up, Josh? It's cold there. How cold?
Where are you at?
Canada. Like, East Coast Canada.
I want it to be cold here.
It will be, my friend.
It is hot. Well, it's not that hot, but
it
it's
was
hot.
cold in the mountains. There wasn't frost, but it was like 40s. And one night we were like really freezing.
Did you brush your teeth this morning?
Yes.
Did you?
No.
Will you please always brush your teeth before we podcast?
All right.
We don't need to do it right now.
Talk to our friends.
No, we're not
I'm
wasting our time. Seriously. Kick you out of this family. Check. What's it say?
Good.
Hey!
Welcome. Brittany is blonde. I'm glad. 20 degree Celsius.
Celsius. What is that, like 70? Just kidding.
20 degrees. I don't know what that is.
We don't know. You
20
have to
away
do it
from
in
zero.
Fahrenheit. What was that? Scottish? Fahrenheit.
Fahrenheit.
Okay, we ready?
I think so.
Check your levels. Check.
Yeah,
Check.
that's cool.
Hello?
Check. Good morning. Hello.
No, I'm speaking loudly. Ha ha ha. Okay.
Hello. Good morning. Happy Labor Day. Good
Check,
morning.
check, check. That's good. Okay. I'm going to try something. That catchphrase. Oh, that says the wrong word. Real hip for real
55,
couples.
60 Fahrenheit.
Oh, I
Sounds about
like
right.
that. That sounds enjoyable.
Sounds about right.
As long as there's pumpkins.
What's
What
up, Ben?
up?
My
Okay,
man
we
in
ready?
Texas. Good to see you. Yes.
Okay. I'm not going to try it. I'll mess it up.
You're going to say one thing?
Don't worry about it. Hello and welcome to the Anatomy of Marriage podcast. I'm your host, Melanie Studley.
Good morning. My name is Seth Stelly. I am a licensed marriage and family therapist, and today is day 76. Trouble with an erection, I want an orgasm, and how to have better sex.
This is a show that brings real help for real couples, and we are on episode number 294, I think. I don't think I changed the number. And we made this show because when we went through hard times, we wanted real resources that were really helpful. So this is what we made. And as always, our show is brought to you by Audible. You can get a free audiobook on us if you visit audibletrial.com/anatomy of marriage. We want you to do this. It helps us out, but it also helps you out. So that's the point. So go get a free audiobook on us. Right now I just listened to Story Brand by Donald Miller, or Building a Story Brand. I'm re-listening to that. I'm also listening to Aware by Dan Siegel, and then Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill.
Wow, 3 at one time.
Well, I'm on my second listening of the Story Brand one.
Nice.
And I'm loving every moment. So please do that. And as always, we're live on Facebook and Instagram. So you'll hear us chatting and answering questions on our live feed there.
That's right. Okay, good morning. We're glad to be back. It's Labor Day and we're working. What the heck? I've been out of town for a couple days. Now I'm back hanging out with you guys and ready to roll. And we're diving straight into this stuff.
But wait, hold on.
And feet first.
Before we dive in, we need to say something to Kev and Melissa of the Love Hour podcast. Y'all's email went to our spam. We are not jerks who don't respond to emails. It was in our spam. So we are emailing you back. We are so glad you reached out. We can't wait to see you and talk and all the things. So we're not jerks. Okay,
we're not jerks.
It was in our spam.
We'll be in LA to chill with you guys and hang out. So
figure it out.
All right, review of the day. 5 stars. Yeah, 5 stars.
Okay.
Listen up, men. I am a 52-year-old man and 10 years into my second marriage. I have learned more today from listening to several episodes than in my 25 total years of marriage. And listen up, men. We are all very much alike in what we think and feel, and you will be amazed at what is normal. Great action items in every episode.
Thank you so much for that review. That's a very helpful review.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And if you like the show and it has helped you at all, please rate and review it on iTunes or wherever. What are you doing?
I'm trying to hold it.
You're not holding it. And so, but it really does help us a lot to get reviews because no one cares what we say about our show. They care what you say about our show.
That's right.
So thank you for that review.
Let's dive in.
You're going to read it? My husband and I have been married for almost 8 years and have 3 small kids. We are so exhausted. We both come from very conservative Christian families, which sadly means that neither of us had any real sex education. We got married, and what little my husband knew came from some porn that he had seen. He didn't really even know what foreplay was, and I basically knew nothing other than how to make a baby. Not to get too graphic, but our sex life basically consisted of him climaxing, and that was it. I had a hunch that something was missing, but really had no idea that I wasn't orgasming or that I was even supposed to until 5 years into our marriage. I had never successfully masturbated, so even knowing what I wanted or what felt good to me, that felt impossible to communicate to her husband. Sorry. I love my husband so much, but our sex life is seriously lacking. I've spent years trying to remind myself that it's more about the connection than the orgasm, but the O is not happening at all, like never ever. No man wants to be told by his wife that you're not doing enough in the bedroom or out of it for that matter. We've spent the last 3 years exploring, trying to figure it out together, and have both grown a lot in how to talk about sex without being accusatory or getting our feelings hurt. But man, some days it feels like we are never going to get there. I'm several months postpartum and I have zero interest in sex right now. I just so badly want it to be better. I want to want it. I want it to be good enough to crave it. I just want to dang climax. I feel broken some days. I still feel like my husband thinks that getting me off is just a bonus and not a part of normal sex. I don't know how to help him understand differently. Thanks so much for listening. This is a great question.
It is a great question, and I think there's a bunch of resources that you can go out there and get that will be like clean and not like, oh my gosh, this is too much, this is wild, right? But let's kind of normalize this conversation at first. So coming from Christian, or not even Christian, but just like conservative families who don't talk about sex, who think sex is mostly for the man, who's been like, acculturated to believe, oh, well, sex is for the guy, and just like, okay, just lay there and whatever, it's his thing. You have to completely rewrite that narrative in your brain. You have to totally switch your paradigm because we both have equal ability to orgasm and enjoy sex, right? And for this couple, it feels like it's not about connection and it's not about pleasure. And obviously she is clearly very dissatisfied, just like, I can't imagine not having an orgasm while having sex.
Yeah.
It would be like, I'm climbing to the very top of the mountain to see the best view ever, and then like just getting there and being like, oh no, sorry, didn't happen.
Closing your eyes and climbing back down.
Yeah.
That's a really good, maybe that's a great point of conversation for your husband. If he's like willing to listen to that and in a non-accusatory way, you could bring it up like ask your husband, hey, how would you like to have sex and not have an orgasm? Like, don't ask it how I just said it, though. That sounded super mean.
Yeah.
The thing that came to my mind when I was reading this question was the talk that I gave at MOPS that time, and it's an episode, you can find it on our website. But I gave a talk at MOPS. Wow, our 7-year-old just walked in. Where we might really need to pause.
Sister.
Hattie Lou, we're filming. Can you go to the other bathroom and close our door, please?
Close the door.
Thank you. But in the talk that I gave at MOPS, one of the things that I said, sort of just off the cuff, but it was true, was that I don't have bad sex. And I think I
guarantee every single woman was like, what?
what?
Right.
And I think it's important I think that's a very empowering statement, because if Seth and I want to be intimate, I'm not going to just settle for like barely there fun, if we're going to do it, let's actually do it. And so that takes a shift in mindset from the female's perspective, because this is something that is typically geared in culture towards men. It's about them. It's in movies. Women are just the object. The man is the thing that seeks after it, whatever. So it's a big mindset shift, but it's very empowering when you can kind of make that mindset shift and then figure out how to get the steps working in order to get you to better sex, if that makes sense. But one of the things I want to throw out to the wife in this is that like everything else that our brains do, they're trying to conserve energy and burn less calories. So everything is a pattern. Mm-hmm. Your husband has now had a pattern for 8 years of having sex the same way. And you can introduce novel ideas or whatever, but that's not quite the same thing as like we're saying we're having sex in a different way. We're rewiring what it is to be intimate and what it is to, and what our goals are, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. So does that make sense when I say that? Mm-hmm. That you have to actually approach it from like, you're breaking a habit. You're breaking a habit of bad sex.
Like I said at the beginning, you have to, it takes a paradigm shift, and like you have to recreate your narrative around that. And there's tons of resources. One resource that we haven't talked about for a really long time is a company that we literally used to own the majority of, marriagesupply.com. And we talked about it a little bit, but that is a really good resource. And they have cards and like, not videos, but instructional things of like how to use toys and stuff like that.
Yeah, but that's just sex toys. That's a totally different thing. Okay. And I will tell you this. Trying to use a toy to achieve an orgasm, some of you may need that. But I'm going to tell you the best toy that you have is your mind. And I don't mean that in a dirty, weird way, but like connecting your mind to your body in a way that prepares your body for intimacy. Now I'm going to do a giant shout out to the Get Your Marriage On app, which has, I know I've spoken about this before, but if you're a woman and you are struggling with orgasm, go get the Get Your Marriage On app. Download it. Go into the sex and intimacy module, and actually it's in the tools. In the tools portion at the bottom of the screen, there's a thing that says meditations, and it's a get in the mood meditation. It is the sole purpose of this meditation is to get your brain to connect to your body so that you can be more present for intercourse and for orgasm. Like that is the point. And it will, my hope is that it will help you get there. If that makes sense.
Think about it this way. Like we can psych ourselves up for like, okay, I'm going to do a run, you know, I'm going to get up and go run tomorrow morning. Or I have this big job interview, or I have this paper due, or some sort of project, or like super busy day. You think about it, right? The day before. Okay, what's the plan? I'm going to go here, do all this. You psych yourself up. You get your mindset.
You prepare.
You prepare, right? And sex sometimes can be no different. Of course, it's spontaneous. What is it? Spontaneous arousal versus
responsive
arousal, right? So you can get yourself in a responsive arousal time if you, and that's Emily Nagoski's work, which is a great
her book is called Come As You Are.
Yeah, so you psych yourself up in all these other ways. Why do we think of sex differently?
Yeah.
Right?
Well, there's a lot of shame, I think, and we're going to address that later in another question. But yeah, I would say really there's a couple things I think that might help this situation. One, seriously, go get the Get Your Marriage On app. Purchase it. It's not that it's way cheaper than therapy, all of those things. Use the meditation. It is, I made it for you. So use the meditation. Have a conversation with your partner about like, hey, this is what this feels like to me. Like I would like to orgasm, but I am not. And I would like you to think about how that would feel if it were you, blah, blah, blah. There's also a foreplay list in the, Get Your Marriage On app. The foreplay is huge. Foreplay is essentially without foreplay, having an orgasm is so much harder. So hear what I just said.
It's like going down a water slide with no water.
Yes. So having an orgasm is aided by foreplay. Foreplay is just the fun that comes before sex, right? So the more foreplay, the more likely you are to have an orgasm as a woman. So take advantage of this. Figure it out, husbands. Like, let's do this thing. So get the app, do that, have a conversation with the partner. It sounds like you are talking about it, but I want to say that just adding more toys or like novelty is not, I don't think, the answer that you're looking for. Just like this. Like I want to make my hamburger taste better. Let's put gravy and French fries and pickles and chips on it. Did it work?
Gravy?
What? Just more. More is better, right? New things. All of them.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying because she like talks about let's see, successfully masturbated even not much. I've never done that, so that's what I'm thinking. Like, okay, you can do other things to like empower yourself. You know, I talked about this. I talk about it all the time. It's like I can't give something if I don't have it. You know what I'm saying? So she's not going to be able to probably orgasm with her partner if she can't even do it by herself.
Hey, let me think about this. Do you know how orgasm works? And I'm not being mean in a woman. because it's different than for a man.
Tell us.
Why? I'm not a sex
I thought you were going to
educator.
say.
Well, it's just different. There are different ways of orgasming. I would highly recommend reading Come As You Are by Emily Nagoski, because actually, when you brought that up, it sounds like you might not actually know your own anatomy well enough. And I'm not trying to diss you or be mean, but that's part of her book is essentially like anatomy, how your body actually works. What
Anatomy
aids,
of marriage?
Anatomy and vagina. But it's what aids in all of that process. So, the app is called Get Your Marriage On, and you can get it in the App Store and Google Play or whatever. I don't even know.
I don't think
Android.
it's there.
But so, yes. So I would highly recommend all of those things. Thank you for your question, and hopefully those answers are helpful. But we're still going to talk about this stuff, so we're not even done.
Okay.
You read that one.
Okay, I've been in a relationship for a year. It's at a distance, so our time together is weekends and full of events, sometimes 2 weeks or so, or a few months apart. Physically, we have connected well and have chemistry, but my boyfriend is having performance issues. Most recently, we had a breakthrough of him saying it's not that he isn't attracted to me, but that he's had to get over a certain amount of purity culture shaming him, but maybe he should see a doctor. I told him I did need to hear those words because I was believing internal lies that we were not doing well, and our lack of physical connection with sex piles onto a made-up narrative I have from past relationships. I want to know what the best way to follow up in communication on this in the future. If we are at the same place 6 months or a year from now, I don't believe the lack of sex before we're married is bad in itself. I want to stop my partner from whatever shame or other internal dialogue that's keeping him from being able to ask a reasonable question of a medical professional. Thanks for all you guys have shared. It's been really insightful. Okay, first of all, I don't know what age, but I just assume that it's maybe, I don't know, younger, probably not over 50, maybe. I guess if it's over 50, there might be physical erection problems, because just sometimes that happens.
Biological problems?
Biological problems, yeah. So if it's not that, I would say, okay, if it is leading, as a therapist, I would say, okay, let's talk about this shame narrative that we have, from purity culture or whatever, and unpack that shame narrative. Maybe it's not even from purity culture or the church. Maybe it's family of origin stuff, and maybe it's your own perception of...
Yeah. Can I say something first really quickly, though? I want to be very explicit in saying I did not edit this question to say something other than boyfriend, because if we are not serving people who are dating and we are saying, oh, well, they should be married, then we are harming them. So I want everyone to understand this is not being like, we think everyone should have sex with everyone all the time. Don't get married. You don't need to. This is the Anatomy of Marriage podcast. But I don't want y'all writing into me and being angry that we answered a question from someone who is dating, who has concerns about their sex life.
Right.
So we are doing this on purpose because we love everyone and we want everyone to have healthy relationships. You may continue.
Yeah, that's a really good point, because as a therapist, like, I've had married couples, non-married couples come in, anything, and okay, if they're coming to me to talk about sex, I don't go,
shame on you.
Wait a minute, you don't have the last name. We can't talk about that. That's ridiculous.
That's exclusive.
As a therapist in my code of ethics, that
helpful.
would be unethical.
Yeah.
Right? And I never put anything in my paperwork saying I only see married couples, and if you have sex, then I can't talk to you.
Yeah, and here's the second part of that too is like, how many people who are dating, who are Christian and in a church, are saying that they haven't had sex and have, and are causing more harm to their future relationships, there's just a lot there, but I want to be very clear in saying we are asking this question in this way on purpose. So not to like stick it to y'all conservatives, but we're not going to lie about what we believe.
Yeah, and we're not going to even judge why. That's just stupid. Help or not help. Okay, we choose help.
So you were saying, I'm sorry.
Anyway, as a therapist, I would unpack that shame narrative from family of origin, from culture, or whatever that is, because probably that might be the issue. Like, oh my goodness, I'm feeling so guilty. How about this? What if you focus and have connection, and you can have pleasure too without having sex. You know, it's pleasurable to go.
We can eat an ice cream together.
Right. That's connecting, and it's pleasure, right? Go get a great steak or a salad or whatever, soup, right? And I have to do that when I say those words. And so what if you just took the focus off of that? Like, what we focus on expands. Oh my gosh, please get an erection. Please, please, please. What's wrong with you?
Yeah,
kind of thing. And you're like, then what we focus on expands, and it's going to, it's only going to grow, but not in the way that you want it to grow.
Right.
Right.
Well, and the thing that I think too is that she's saying that they're long distance. So part of that problem, or part of the issue there, I think, is that there's an anticipation of being together, and there's a pressure, and that can equal like performance anxiety. So I would again go to what is connection and what is pleasure. Like I would say, take the idea of sex out of the equation. Don't put that into the mix and be like, if this doesn't happen, this weekend's a failure. Like that. Don't do that. Just be like, I'm going to be with the person I love, and that's what I'm doing. And I'm just being with them. We're going to hang out. We're going to do the things that bring us joy, right? And another thing, too, is it is not a side note if this is related to... So, yes, this could be medical. Yes. It is not unimportant if this is related to shame or family of origin. I would not say trample over that and just be like, oh, no shame, everything's fine. No, if your partner genuinely feels like convicted in his heart that this is not okay for him to do, and I'm not saying that you're pressuring him, but if you're trying to pressure him to not feel shame, you're not honoring where he is on his journey. His journey is not the same as yours. So he might actually feel a lot of guilt, and he might not feel like he can share it with you because he knows that you don't feel guilt or whatever, right? So I want you to really try to honor where he is. And if he is saying, I feel shame from purity culture and I actually don't feel like having sex, honor that. That's no big deal. If y'all are getting married, you have plenty of years to bone. So do you know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. How can I make more sex? Hold on. Sorry. Next question I'm going to read. How can I make sex more intimate and meaningful? My husband and I have been married for 12 years and our sex life is pretty good, but I do feel there is something missing. That makes it sound worse than it is, but what I mean is that I want to have more spiritual connection with my partner during sex, and I'm not sure how to make that happen. Any thoughts? Thanks and so much love. I love the show. Okay, spiritual connection during sex, right? So, sex is obviously physical, it's obviously emotional, it's biological, and it's psychological, and there is a strong spiritual component.
Biopsychosocial spiritual.
Because my spirit in my body, or wherever it lives, and yours are connecting, right? So, I don't know if we talked about this on the show, but when we were going through a bunch of crap, I think probably like on the tail end of it, because we didn't have a lot of sex when we were going through all that stuff.
Well, you need to clarify. So if you have not heard our full story, we went through that's why this podcast exists. We went through a really, really, really hard time in our marriage. That's what all of season 1 is. 13 episodes are about the struggles that we went through in our marriage. And like Seth confessed to lying and looking at pornography. I lost my freaking mind, gave him a black eye. Like, it was legitimately terrible. And during that time, of course, we like barely touched each other. I mean, apart from me wanting to just hurt you constantly. So that is what he is referencing. So now continue. So
then on the back end of that, like, we actually used to pray while we were having sex, right?
So just like think about it. Sex is really important. We were being very intentional about like protecting that time, and I don't mean like from demons or something weird,
right?
But like protecting that time on purpose and saying, this is something we're doing because we want to actually rebuild this very broken part of our marriage.
Right.
Because if you are a wife or even, I guess, a husband and your partner has looked at pornography, you know that breaks a very significant part of your marriage. Like, all intimacy from then on out, it changes. It's sad and it's wounding, and it's, like for me anyway, and I know lots of women in the women's group have talked about this, like your brain immediately just goes, like when your partner wants to be intimate, your brain goes to, well, what has he watched before? Well, what has he seen? Well, what does he want? Because he looked at this, because he's a jerk, because he hates me. Like, there's this like just machine gun effect of negative thoughts, and that really do damage you. So that's I don't know. We were protecting that cycle from continuing, if that makes sense.
Right. And I want to normalize that whole thing, because think about it. Like, some people pray before you go on a trip. You pray before, you eat. you pray in the morning or whenever during the day and stuff. And so it's not really weird. It's not weird at all to pray.
It's only weird if we make it weird, I think.
Yeah, it's only weird if you make it weird. And like we would literally pray during sex. Why not? It's a spiritual thing. It's a connecting thing. And it like was awesome. I mean, it never, I don't remember at least like it being weird or anything. I don't know if I said, hey, let's pray, or you asked or something. I think I did it, I guess. And it was just really, what?
You always do that. Mariner made fun of you the other day for saying that.
What
Dad always goes, I think I thought of it like 3 weeks ago. That's our new joke. Yeah, I did that like 3 weeks ago.
Nice.
You always do it.
Because it's
Tell
always
me I'm
true.
wrong. It's not always true. But anyway, but yeah, so I think that there is, so it's funny because when we first were married, I was very, I don't know, it's really weird. And I have a very long backstory of like, I had sex before I got married. I did not care about it. I became a Christian when I was 19. At that point, had been having sex for a long time. And
I was a Christian like 3 weeks before you.
But so when we got married, as much as it didn't bother me to have sex, I did not want to talk about it. I did not want to talk about it with you. I did not want to talk about it with a marriage counselor, a premarital counselor. I did not,
so weird,
in any context, want to speak about it.
You would have it and do whatever, but not talk about it?
I didn't grow up in a house where we talked about it. I didn't.
So weird.
Sex was not normalized like anywhere in my sphere. So that being said, that actually caused a lot of like a weird conflict because we have always had really great sex, but never talked about it. And then when the emotional side of that would start to slip, because there's a bio side, like a body side, and then an emotional side, a spiritual side, right? But when the spiritual emotional side would slip away from it, we could tell that it wasn't fulfilling. But we didn't. But in a way, we've been acculturated to think, oh, orgasm equals good. Nah, it's good, right? But then our doors were blown off by Dr. Tina Shermer Sellers when she was like, loads of people are having bad sex all the time. And I was like, what? Wait, what?
Right.
And, she's like, you can have an orgasm and terrible sex at the same time. I was like, oh, didn't know. So all of that to say, it took me very many years to actually connect the biocycle, the social, spiritual to the bio part, the mind, body to the, oh my gosh, the spiritual and the mind part to the body part. Make sense? But it's doable. You just have to think differently about sex and what it means and why it's there. And, like, I don't know. It's hard to explain, but I think it's really important to talk about. And I'm appreciative of the questions that we got today and that we can talk about it in an open and honest way. Because it's only weird if you make it weird, y'all. Yeah. And I was making it weird for a really long time. Like, I was mad every time.
That was our entire problem.
Like 3 weeks ago.
Nice. Okay, so you guys, that's all the questions for today. We are really excited about the premarital series that we have launching soon. And let's see, what else? The premarital series, sorry, people are texting you and my brain is like,
you didn't turn off the thing.
Not thinking correctly. And also, ever done group therapy? Ever been in a mastermind? Ever done coaching? Yeah, you have? Okay. No, you haven't?
This is terrible.
Okay, sorry, take over. Go.
We want you to know about the AOM Mastermind that we are working on. It should be launching sometime in October as we wrap up the 100 days of Q's and A's. Our mastermind is acting sort of like group therapy, but y'all can't sue us, so it's not group therapy. It's a mastermind. Right. But it's going to be like our community on steroids. We're going to be in the mastermind groups every day. We're going to be talking all the time. We're going to be answering mastermind questions with priority, like not everyone's questions, just y'all's. We're so excited about it. We haven't set up the website thing for it yet. So if you're interested in the mastermind, send us an email to hello@anatomyofmarriage.com. And we've already received several emails for that. So I'm super excited about that. But please send in your emails. Space will be limited.
It is a paid group, right? It's a monthly kind of subscription thing. And guess what? What we pay for, we value more. I have a gym membership. I go because I pay money, right? We have other subscriptions to stuff. We do it. We have a coach, right? And I just don't want to waste money. We're paying good money for it, and we're getting value out of it, right? Because if you pay, then it hurts a little bit, and you go, oh, okay, I'm going to make this work. because, you know,
Yeah.
time, money, doing good is valuable. So
Yes.
what you pay for, you are more bought into.
And it is significantly cheaper than therapy. Like,
It's
it
like
is
zero
the cost for a
compared to
month
therapy.
is less than one single session with Seth. So it is not. Will you quit faffing with the thing? Anyway, we want you to know about the mastermind. Please send us an email at hello@anatomyofmarriage. hello@anatomyofmarriage.com.
That's right.
If you're interested in joining. And please rate and review the podcast if you're liking the show, if you find it helpful, and share it with your friends. There is no one on this planet who cares what we say about ourselves, but your friends will care about what you say about our show. So please share it with your friends, rate it and review it on iTunes, and get the app, Get Your Marriage On. I know that was lots of calls to action.
Yep.
But no big deal.
Action. You guys are awesome. So stay awesome. We will see you tomorrow morning, and
We love you.
we love you. Bye.
Bye.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Call mom.
Post show. Yeah, we got to take care of kids and do stuff. First day of school's tomorrow, so I bet your guys' kids are already in school. So,
I know.
okay. Love you guys. Bye.
Bye.